Hello, I'm Marcus V. Calvin, and welcome to Tales Unlimited. Today's battery prompt is number 71. A school of dark magic actually kidnaps potential students, including your son. Oh, that's not good. How old's your boy? Let's say old enough to be a pupil. And maybe in your family, you don't send your children to magical schools or academies. There might actually be quite a few throughout the world. It's always uh, parent or parents to child, from one generation to another, directly taught. If grandparents are around, then grandparents may help with the training. Well, you head off to do some sort of thing, like maybe you're a working magician or mage. Okay, you're a working mage. You do mage stuff. You head off. You come back, and everybody's dead. House is destroyed. Your mom, who's like your guardian, better mage than you are, she got killed, and she took a bunch with her. It looks like you're seeing bad guys all over the place. You live in some estate. There are defenses all over the place. Someone methodically breached your defenses. It was like a coordinated kidnapping, and they took your son. Your wife dead for years, and servants. You're like mystical conjurations you created out of thin air, but you made them dangerous. Also, for the purposes of protecting your family, all shredded. So it was not an inside job, it was an outside job that was really well planned. And yet, when you try to do like divination spells to figure out what's going on, nothing. It's like, ooh. It has all the the markings of a certain school of the occult who do this sort of thing. Like whenever they're interested in a child, like really interested. I mean, they have other methods of getting students. They can come in with a snake oil pitch of, yes, we will teach you occult power, da da da. But every so often, they steal a child, say from a bloodline, a powerful and ancient one, like yours. So your first inclination is to go find them and destroy them. Screw the school, screw where it is, screw however many of them there are. They killed your mom, they took your son, settle it, payback. But you're a mage who's dealt with all types of shadowy forces. So you step back and you chill and you do different types of spells. And some of it's divination, the logical, okay, what happened here? But then you start summoning your conjurations. You have fail safes in case something like this happens, and you actually pull like one of them back successfully. The others were completely destroyed, but one of them, it actually managed to save a fraction of its essence. Still was not quite taken out. So you have a piece of it, and you carefully restore it, and you ask, okay, what happened? And as it turns out, it was not. I'm going off prompt here. It was not that school of the occult. It was someone who wanted you to think that it was. It's a setup. They want you to go after them, and basically they're an enemy of yours and an enemy of the school's. That's how I'd write the story. Now, if I want to stay on prompt, I would say, okay, confirms that it is indeed the school, and then it's like, okay, how do we get your son back? Master, I failed you. And it's like, no, no, no. You've given me what I need. Thank you. You may rest now. And dissipates this thing. And just sits down for the next, I don't know, month, creating mystical warriors out of thin air. Conjuration, boom, conjuration, boom, conjuration, boom. Literally makes an army and then visits the school. Basically, by this time, because you've trained your son in a variety of ways, but this is like the first spell you ever taught your son, and you grilled it into him. And your kid's basically taken to the school. They tried to do brainwashing and all that stuff. And the first spell he taught him was basically a spell that like wraps him up in a cocoon. It's like, oh, they kidnapped. Boom! Emergency cocoon. And this cocoon, nothing can open it. You're in stasis. You don't need to eat, drink, sleep. You can theoretically stay in there for centuries. And they're like, this boy's in a cocoon. He learned a cocoon spell? Who would teach him a cocoon? Oh, damn it. All right, well, break it through. This is not your standard cocoon spell. This one's unusual. As a matter of fact, the more we try to break it, the stronger it gets. Oh, it's one of those. Okay, grab the father. And by the time they figure this out and they come for you, you're waiting with your army of mystical constructs and, well, butt gets kicked. But let's say we go back to that point where off prompt, it's a setup. They want you to attack the school looking for your son, so you die, but in reality, an old flame, the one you dumped for your wife, she's the one who takes your son. And you have to go get her. You have to go through all of her defenses, fight her on her own ground, all because of a jilted lover thing. And as a matter of fact, she kills your mom because your mom wouldn't let you marry her and forced you to marry your wife because this jilted lover was merely a human. Well, that mere human ends up learning magic, and she makes dark pacts. And if she doesn't sacrifice your son in a certain time, she loses her soul. But if she does, she gains more power than you do. So the question is, do you get to your son in time? That's two ways you can write this story. How would you write this story? Well, I'm Marcus V. Calvert. This is Tales Unlimited. Please check out talesunlimited.net for the podcasts, two of them. There's the Batchery Daily Prompt and a Disturbing Thought of the Day. Both are dailies. And then there are the links to the books. They're on Amazon. You hit a link, it'll take you straight to it, and there are print ebooks available on every title. So what are the titles? Well, there's the Batchery Daily Prompt. That's 200 very unusual writing prompts and a little wisdom on how to write the first novel. For anyone who's ever tried to write a novel without a system and maybe lost years of their lives trying with nothing to show for it, maybe, but hey, I would suggest the Batchery because what you do is you follow the system, and if you follow it all the way through, you will have books to sell while you're working on your finished novel. And you'll be a better writer. That's the tricky part, though. You have to follow it through, and all it really takes is hard work. On top of that, though, there is room for storytellers of every stripe. So whether you're an evil GM, game designer, comic book writer, screenwriter, or even a grizzled novelist, someone who's written 20 books, there's something in there in Batchery for you, and that's 200 unusual writing prompts. Take one and run off with it. Who knows what you might create? Also, there are the anthologies, 2 series, New School Twilight Zone, 25 stories in any of the books. Here are the themes. Unheroics about unlikely heroes saving the day, like a math prodigy recovering from chemo in the middle of a blizzard, kicking by the fireplace. He gets an urgent plea for help to basically solve a math problem, but not just any math problem. This one actually changes before his eyes, shrinks before his eyes, and if he doesn't solve it before it disappears, it will explode. Yeah. And then there's the Book of Schemes. Funny schemes, diabolical schemes, twisted schemes, silly schemes. Something like there's, 1950s, Los Angeles, they're building highways. There's a magic shop, and this mobster wants to buy it, flip it, and turn it into like a decent score for highway property before it gets eminent domained or something, right? Well, the owner does not want to sell. And I know what you're thinking, magic shop, wizard, no. But there is something going on in that magic shop that the owner doesn't want to see. And it keeps on going even after he gets himself killed by one of those mobsters. That's how it goes. And then there is the novel, I Villain. Supervillain fiction, told from the perspective of Benjamin Clyde, gentleman fixer, dude in a suit. Pay him enough money, and he can send forth any number of his 400 plus mercs to solve your problem. So if you want to have someone killed, made a senator, you want to start an ethnic cleansing, he's your guy. He works for good guys, bad guys, infernal types. He's done jobs for the Vatican. You name it. One fine evening, though, his luck runs out. He is forced to give up his business, fire all of his people, give up his assets, and he's forced to fight crime in a place worse than Gotham. They tell him you skip a night, you die, leave town, you die. Anyone helps you, they die. And his life expectancy is a joke, right? Because as far as anyone knows, the man's just a dude with a phone and high cholesterol. Well, wrong. He has a past. Black ops skills, powers. He comes out of retirement. And he does rather well in the crime fighting game, a little too well, to the point where he's going after the worst villains and taking their stuff because people who threaten a world order, they tend to have money. Fun series. Okay, I'm Marcus V. Calvert. This is Tales Unlimited. Till tomorrow.